Oh, wait, we ready? This is it?
Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah.
Oh,
This is the intro. We're sticking with this. This is good.
awesome. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ass. I am Adam.
And I'm Steve.
And this is our show where we talk about movie stuff. And this month that we're talking about is June.
Oh yeah, June.
We're talking about June today. And actually, I'm going to throw it to you first because we're going to get into some news before we have some questions. Then we're going to talk about some movies. What piece of news from this month would you like to talk about first?
Do we want to talk about the crazy guy that's playing the Flash still?
Oh, I would love to. Honestly, he's a madman. Like, obviously, he's an awful person, but tell me this isn't going to be your most anticipated movie of next year.
Yeah, I'm still really excited about it just to see
Mhm.
what this is gonna end up being because we're not gonna see a sequel. He's out of Warner Brothers, I'm pretty sure anyway. I don't know if they fully concrete said if he was out or not, but there's
Mhm.
no way they're gonna keep working with him after all this stuff, him just like being an absolute menace to society. So I don't think we'll see anymore. So it's going to be exciting to see what all we're going to do with this crazy movie that they poured so much money into.
Which I was generally excited because I liked Flash and the short little spurts that he's in. But honestly, the Keaton stuff was what really sold
Mm,
me.
absolutely. And I mean, as much as you don't like the guy as a person, Ezra Miller is a good actor, in my opinion. He's good at what he was doing. I liked him as
Yes.
the Flash. If they did like a whole Kevin Spacey thing, like the whatever the color of money was it that they replaced him completely out of, if
Mhm.
they did that with like Grant Gustin from the
All the money in the
CW,
world. You're thinking of the
yeah,
Tom Cruise pool movie.
yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if they replaced him with the guy from the CW, Grant Gustin, I wouldn't be that mad either just because I love
Mhm.
that guy, but I digress. Ezra is a okay actor. I like Perks of Being a Wallflower and everything like that, but yeah, he's out for the Flash for sure. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with all this.
And Snyder's no stranger to CGIing new actors over problematic cast because of Army of the Dead. Did you catch that?
Yeah, didn't he do it with uh James
Crystalia.
Frank didn't he do it with James Franco too?
James.
James Franco was in it too. Didn't he cut James Franco?
I would be very
Because
surprised if
he
that was
covered over
real.
Chris D'Elia, but I want to say James Franco was like in the beginning or something like that, and he just cut his scene completely just because of all the controversy around him. I could be wrong,
That
but
makes
for
more
some reason
sense to me.
I just for some reason I have that at my head too, but I could be wrong.
Which, by the way, that comedian that they replaced Crystalia with, she was my favorite part of the movie. She was hilarious.
Oh, absolutely. I think the movie was fine. The broken lens that Zack Snyder decided to use because he's a brand new cinematographer, that really just made me mad in that movie and it made me just completely taken out of it. So I like Dave Bautista too. I think her name is Tig Notaro, I think is what her name is. She's hilarious as a comedian too. If you've never watched her stand up, highly recommend that too. But yeah, that movie is fine.
All right. So, would you be surprised, or would you blame anyone if they boycotted Flash because of Ezra Miller?
I would not be mad at them whatsoever just because, yeah, he's a crazy person. I think they'd be kind of missing out on a great movie. From what I've been seeing, especially with the Michael Keaton stuff, I think it's going to be cool no matter what. But yeah, I'm not going to be surprised or blame them whatsoever for boycotting it just because he's such an asshole, really.
Prediction: is this going to make more or less money than Morbius?
More for sure. Absolutely
Oh,
more.
100 million domestically.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't see it going any less than that really, just because it's all of these people, especially Michael Keaton and everything. You're going to bring back all of those people from the 80s who are just obsessed with old Batman and everything. So, and just out of curiosity, I think you're going to get a bunch of people just for the controversy too, because America loves controversy.
Oh yeah, the Depp and Amber Heard trial
Yeah.
was everywhere, and even then, I didn't even really care. I was like, well, they're both probably terrible. And then I watched Johnny Depp movies for a week straight, just ironically.
Yeah.
But so going from the movie with the absolute worst press imaginable, the movie with the absolute best press, which is my hands down most anticipated movie of next year. Well, actually, no, because there's a Flash, and then there's an M Night movie. There's a Nolan movie, but nothing compares to the greatest female director of all time already. That's right, I'm saying it. Greta
I'm
Gerwig's Barbie.
100% with you completely, dude.
Mm.
Little Women, the remake of it, I
Mhm.
love that movie so much. I've never even seen the original one. Don't need to. Greta Gerwig's fantastic. Frances Ha did not expect to even really like that movie at all, but I really loved it. I mean, Greta
Mhm.
Gerwig's honestly just a fantastic writer, director, actress too. She's a triple threat, fantastic, and I can't wait to
Mhm.
see what Barbie is, especially with Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie.
Mhm.
I'm sold immediately. And all these press pictures and the set pictures that keep coming out and everything, the more I see it, I think they had the rollerblading pictures come out today with all the neon.
Mhm.
I'm sold.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be there day one. Very excited for Barbie. Also very excited for Don't Worry, Darling. Did you see the trailer and the poster that came out for that recently?
I don't, doesn't sound familiar, honestly. I'm not even
The
sure what it
Olivia
is.
Wilde movie with starring Harry Styles, and
Oh,
so that's kind
okay.
of how Harry Styles and Olivia Wilde met.
I made the joke the other day about every time the trailer starts, and it's not even actually a joke, it's very real. Every
Mhm.
time the trailer starts, I think it's a cologne commercial, like with that song and like with them all in the sitting around the table, like playing the game or whatever they're doing. It literally, for some reason, just looks like a cologne commercial. And I'm like, wait, that's Florence Pugh, isn't it? And then it's Harry Styles over there too. I'm like, okay.
No, that made my most anticipated movies of this year list. I think it was pretty like eight, like right in that Elvis area. But definitely one that I'm looking forward to. Is there any other pieces of news that I did not get to that you want to talk about?
Not that I can think of, other than like
Some sequel news, Knives Out 2, Glass Onion. Does that mean anything to you?
the title.
Yeah, it makes me think of the Beatles.
I don't know. I don't really know. No, it doesn't
Yeah,
really mean anything to me. I don't know the Beatles that well either.
and then speaking of sequel news, we also have Joker 2. I think it's called Le Deux, or what was the official title? It's some non-English word.
Yeah, I cannot remember either. The only thing I'm excited about is that apparently it's going to be a sequel with Lady Gaga and it's going to be a musical, which is
Mm-hmm.
just beautiful news. I know you're a fan of musicals. I
Mm-hmm.
myself have gotten like I wasn't a huge on them. Like I was a High School Musical guy for a long time, and then I started to get into more musicals, and now I'm like totally obsessed with them. Actually, I just rewatched a favorite of both of ours. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
Little Shop of Horrors with Rick Moranis, and yeah,
Little shop of horrors.
yeah, it's
All-time
still
favorite.
yeah, it's so much fun. The bad ending is the better ending. I think we can both agree on that too.
Oh yes, yes, I completely
Yes,
entirely agree.
but
No,
anyway,
I'm a huge musical fan, a huge Lady Gaga fan,
yes.
and I will be there day one. That being said, Joker has gotten better the less people have talked about it.
Yeah, I I was kind of mixed on it leaving the theater. Like I liked it, but I kind of hated all of the people that liked it and kind of ruined it for a long time. But as that's kind of gotten more separated from those kind of people, yeah, it's kind of aged a little bit better. And when I heard a sequel was coming at first, I was like not really needed. Didn't really need a sequel to that movie whatsoever. I think it was fine, but hearing that it's
Mhm.
going to be a musical and that it's kind of just going to be a complete different direction with still the same director. I think it's going to be really interesting because Todd Phillips still not really known for doing drama stuff. He's a comedy guy, so seeing him
Mhm.
kind of tackle a musical should be pretty interesting too.
Oh yeah, Todd Phillips is not someone I greatly respect very much at all, but I think it'll be really funny and if not irresponsible to watch him make a musical. And I've heard it's like a riff on there's another Martin Scorsese movie that's a musical. I think New York's in the title and it's got Liza Minnelli in it, and they're saying that's what he's drawing inspiration from.
Makes sense. I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is, but yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. Just because
I think
I
it's
also
New
haven't.
York, something like that.
Yeah, I haven't ever seen canned comedy still either, so I can't really
Mhm.
speak too much on that, even though I know it's heavily influenced by that. So
All right, so just because I feel like we're capping this new segment off, we have Joker 2, we have Knives Out, Glass Onion, we have Don't Hurry, Darling, uh, Flashpoint Paradox, or whatever it's called, and Barbie. I want those five movies ranked by you by most excited for off the top of your head.
all right, so definitely Flash is probably the top. Then Barbie, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Knives Out for sure. And what were the other two?
Don't Worry, Darling, and Joker. Did you say Joker yet?
Oh no, so Joker 4 and then Don't Worry Darling. Just because honestly, I'm excited for it, but I still honestly don't know it by name or anything. Like I don't know anything about it, which I'm still excited about, but I don't know
Mhm.
anything. So yeah, I'm still excited about it, but it's definitely at the bottom of the list just because I don't know anything and can't really have that much anticipation.
Gotcha, gotcha. I'm Barbie, very firmly Barbie, followed closely by Joker 2, then followed by the Glass Onion, Knives Out movie, then to Don't Worry, Darling, and Flash. Like, it's still a DC movie, which actually, speaking of DC movies, how are you feeling about Black Adam? I know that The Rock has posted about wrapping filming, and the trailer's been playing in front of every movie that I see these days.
And honestly, I've still kind of avoided the trailer somehow just by like whenever it comes on, if there's a trailer that I want to see and I'm at the theater, I just pull out my phone and just start scrolling endlessly just so I don't look at it and try not to listen. So I don't know that much still about it, but I'm I've been a fan of The Rock forever. Like I'm a big wrestling fan and everything. So I'm gonna watch it. I love everything he's in, except not big on Jungle Cruise, but everything like Walking Tall is still like a great movie. If you ever seen Walking Tall, it's like a remake from the early 2000s, like one of his first roles, honestly.
No, I did recently see the rundown for the first time though. So,
Rundown's fun. Walking Tall is good though. You should check that one out if you get the chance. And Johnny Knoxville's in it too.
hmm.
He's like his little
um,
buddy, cop buddy. It's very interesting. But
gotcha,
anyway,
gotcha.
yes, The Rock's in it. I don't know that much about Black Adam either. I know he's like kind of a anti-hero villain type thing, which DC loves that villain hero story right now. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm interested for sure.
Well, I'm more excited for it because of the release date, because it's a late October release, which kind of is reminiscent of something like Venom, which I know how poorly that Sony handles their villain movies. Marvel doesn't, the MCU doesn't do very much villain led stuff besides their TV shows, I guess, in theory. But DC, they hit because I love Birds of Prey. I love the Joker. I am a big fan of the direction. Oh, The Suicide Squad was one of my favorite movies of last year,
It
so I have
it
a lot of
was my
trust
number
in it.
one. So yeah.
So I'm very excited, and I will definitely be there. I will hold my question about your mid-year awards until after we talk about June movies. But yes, please, you open the floor. Which June movie would you like to talk about first?
June. I gotta think about it just for a second. Well, actually, my favorite movie that I just saw, actually, and it's probably, I think it's my number two of the year right now, and that is The Black Phone
Mhm.
with Scott Derrickson. C. Robert Cargill is the writer. They're the writer director duo from Sinister back in 2012. Is that where it was? Right around there.
Yeah.
I love that movie. It honestly really scared me when it first came out.
Mhm.
All the different like snuff films with like the Super 8 footage was really creepy. And Bagul, even though the name's not great, I think
The
he's a really creepy
Bagoon.
character. And yeah, so I was really excited for this one, and it held up for me with all the hype still. I thought it
Mhm.
was really cool how it was set in the 70s, and Ethan Hawke was extremely creepy yet charming, which is kind of character you need to play this role. And the kids were also fantastic. I don't remember either of their names at the moment, but I can see them having big futures in this industry, honestly, just because they played those roles so perfectly and their dialogue back and forth just felt really natural. So I really
Mhm.
enjoyed it. I can't really think of anything I disliked about it. Yeah, it's, even though it's a horror, it kind of plays with the different subgenres in there too, like thriller and even a little supernatural in there. No spoilers, but yeah, great movie in my opinion. And my video will actually come out about that soon. I recorded it, just haven't edited it yet.
Good, good, good. So you said it was your number two, maybe your number two of the year.
Right
Is the
now it
number
is.
one Doctor Strange?
No, it's not.
Okay, so Scott, in theory, Scott Derrickson won the divorce.
I think Scott Derrickson made the right choice, and I love Sam Raimi, and I'm happy he did that movie anyway. So it's a big win either way for me.
Is there a big gap between the two though?
Not, I mean, okay. Movie wise, in general, on my rating scale, just without any like personal feelings, yeah, Black Phone is a better made movie for sure. I think it'll hold up longer and everything, but on my personal scale, they're still pretty close. Cause like I think I rated Doctor Strange like at least like a 4 to a 4.5, even though Black Phone is a 5 out of 5 for me. So they're not that far away, but yeah, I still think that Scott Derrickson made the better movie here with Black Phone.
Mhm. Excuse me. No, I was also a pretty big fan of the movie. I came out of it thinking like that rocked, and I really cared about the main characters, the kids. Kids are very easily annoying in movies, and I got more of like a genuine it or like Stand By Me kind of vibe, which so that's clearly what they're trying to go for here. I
Hmm.
think the Ethan Hawke is one of my favorite villain performances in a horror movie in quite some time, honestly.
Absolutely.
He was really great. I loved how sometimes you see above his nose, you sometimes you see just below, and
And
he had
he
so much personality and presence.
exactly, he still got all of that like so much creepy yet, but still so like comforting in a way to these kids, which is so creepy. But even just with his eyes, he could still do so much with just that voice and everything. And
Mhm.
yeah, he made you very uncomfortable and you could really feel how those kids were feeling. So yeah, it's one of his best performances, even though you can talk about all of Ethan Hawke's fantastic performances because he's just great. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I'm a really big fan. I'm only at a 4 out of 5. It didn't scare me too much. I feel like the script isn't as buttoned up as I'd like it to be. Not a lot of things are connected in the way that I would like them to be. I did really like the ending of this movie. It made me feel very satisfied, though. It's very thrilling and it's very fun. It is another kidnapping movie, so that's kind of run of the mill stuff. But Ethan Hawke elevates it enough. And honestly, the performance from the two kids, the fact that they made me like and care about these two kids made it all the better. So I think it's a very big win. I like it better than Scream 5. I don't like it as much as Men, but it's a lot closer to Men than it is to Scream 5 for me.
yeah, my actual rankings, like Men is pretty up there too, but this one is definitely toward the top for me. Like X is one of my favorites of the year still too when it comes to horror. And I like Scream 5 a lot, but it's definitely toward the bottom of that list. Yeah, I really like, I get some of the problems with the writing, I guess, maybe, but I personally just, I don't see it. I just love it so much. I think it all worked pretty well. And it wasn't, I don't think it needed to be like out there scary in a visual way. I think a lot of the scares came from just putting yourself in that situation and kind of thinking like the
Yeah.
parents, and it was more thrilling and kind of wondering like what's going to happen, what's, is this going to turn out the way we all think it's going to turn out, or is it blah. I don't want to spoil too much, but
Mhm.
yeah, I really just adored it, and I think it's just going to get better with time. And I'm really happy that people are actually seeing it in theaters. I thought it was going to get just destroyed by Elvis, but it's still kind of holding its own, surprisingly.
Yeah, no, it's doing very solid. I do agree. I think it's more creepy than like keep me up at night scary, but this is definitely not as good as James McAvoy and Split, but up, towards that direction for me. But
Yeah.
you brought up my favorite movie from the month, which is Elvis, which I just got back from. I saw it for the second time. I watched it in RPX. First time I watched it drunk like a skunk. And because I mean, how else would you watch that movie, right?
Yeah.
It was one of my most anticipated of the year. It's one that even when I heard people talk about how much that they're loathing it, and especially the reviews being like, "Oh my gosh, it feels like you just got slapped in the face," and I'm like, "Good, hit me." And I've adored it both times. It's a 5 out of 5, one of my favorite movies of the year, one of my favorite. It's absolutely fantastic in every way. What were your thoughts on it?
With Elvis, I really liked it a lot. I enjoyed myself in the theater. There was an old man who didn't buy the seat directly next to me, but insisted on sitting directly next to me, so that was fine. But it was a fun movie. I think it was a pretty stylized biopic for sure. I loved all the editing. Like people were comparing it to Speed Racer. I get it. I love the
Mhm.
Speed Racer editing so much, and Baz Luhrmann's kind of just a crazy guy when it comes to all his different set pieces. But it's a very fun movie. But is it the best biopic out there? I don't really think so. It's better than Bohemian Rhapsody for sure, and Austin definitely deserves an Oscar nomination if Rami Malek can win for doing what he did. So I think it was a really good movie, but it's definitely not my favorite thing out there. I think I gave it a 3.5, and I was kind of teetering on a 3.5, 4. But
Mhm.
yeah, I really liked it, but it definitely wasn't my favorite of June.
Was the old guy next to you wearing a hospital gown?
He was not, but he definitely had reminiscence of him because he was kind of reacting to the movie and verbally reacting to it, which is always a fun time.
Hmm.
Just like
Yeah, no.
muttering to himself. He's like, "Don't do that to Elvis," but he's defending Elvis.
Don't do that to him. No, Tom Hanks is terrifying. I said this a lot in my review. He reminds me of like the Emperor. Like this feels like what Star Wars nerds want a Darth Vader movie to be.
Yeah, I get that for sure. He kind of got lost in that makeup too, similar to how I said this in my review, but Colin Farrell and Batman earlier this year. I didn't
Hmm.
really see Tom Hanks in there. Like, and you don't get a whole lot of Tom Hanks villain other than this movie, really, that I can think of right offhand. So it
Hmm.
was nice to see him kind of be the bad guy from America's Dad.
Oh yeah, this sleazy rat dude. Like, I
He's so
hated him.
gross. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I definitely I when I posted my review, I was like, cancel the Oscars because yeah, Austin Butler, he's my favorite lead male performance of the year. I'm 90% sure of that.
Even
Um,
though he is still pretending to be Elvis in interviews.
good, good.
I thought that
No,
was
he's
funny. Like,
committed.
even though like I was watching like the H3 podcast I think earlier today, and they kind of brought up a clip, and he does it a little bit but not enough for people to kind of be freaking out about it. So give the guy a pass. I think he
Mhm.
definitely deserves an Oscar nomination at this point from what I'm seeing from the movies that came out so far.
Mhm. Oh, and I'm a big Boz fan. I was here for Boz first and foremost. I've been excited about this since it was announced. I One of my favorite movies of the year, definitely top five. I think I currently have it at my third favorite movie of the year. But
Yeah.
this is a true experience. It feels like riding a roller coaster.
Yeah, with that editing for sure, I can definitely understand that. And if you're an Elvis fan and you like all the music that he put out back in his heyday, you're gonna have so much fun. Like the theater I saw it in was heavily 60 plus, and I think they all had a wonderful time with it. So if you want to go take your grandpa or your grandma or even your mom and dad out to a movie, I'm sure they'll have a fun time with Elvis and probably not as much fun with Black Phone if I'm being honest, but
Mhm.
I love it anyway.
Before we go to our next movie, I want to run by. I had an idea while I watched the movie today. I think the Elvis is about wet ass pussy, the WAP,
Yeah.
because the whole, especially in the beginning when they're like, "Oh, this is terrible. We need to lock him up for this song. How terrible is this?"
The
I just kept feeling like I was watching Fox News.
the dick shots in that movie are so intense but so funny. Like I was
Mhm.
dying in the theater when it was
Iconic.
happening. And it stuck with me for sure. So Boz Lerman, you definitely did what you set out to do.
Oh yeah, took my breath away. 5 out of 5. Love it, love it, love it. Anything else from June that you would like to talk about?
What else really came out in June? Let me just look real quick at my diary. But I mean, if we want to talk about Obi-Wan a little bit, the finale, or no, actually no, Obi-Wan was fine. It was fine.
It's okay.
Darth Vader
I
was
like
cool.
Rev.
Reva was
Riva.
fantastic. I really liked all of her arc. I think it was really
Mhm.
cool. But
She was
the
conflicted, and I felt for her, but I hated her, and she was
exactly,
badass, and her lightsaber was that's my favorite lightsaber.
it's a fine
Mhm.
show. She was a fine character, but the movie I really want to talk about that I hope gets more light is Cha Cha Real Smooth. Cooper Rave. He made that shithouse movie, I want to say in
Mhm.
2020.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie. Didn't even really know what Cha Cha Real Smooth was until I bought the ticket and was starting to look around, and I was like, oh shit, this is Cooper
Wait, you got
Rave's
to see it in a
movie.
theater?
Yes, I did actually. Yeah, it's playing.
Wow.
I think it still has like literally. I saw it the weekend it opened, and literally by the next weekend it had like one or two show times. Like it got nuked completely. I think it might still be holding on with one showtime during like I want to say like 2:30 in the afternoon maybe.
I'm
But
jealous. I had to watch it on Apple TV Plus.
yeah, I haven't got to, I'm gonna be able to rewatch it on there. Luckily, I'm probably gonna show it to my mom. So I think it's a wonderful movie. It's a movie that you can really show to all ages and everyone can get a lot out of it. I think it's a cool story just about a guy who's really just trying to figure out his path in life at the moment. He's kind of lost where he's at, and he meets a young woman with a daughter who's autistic, and he kind of just befriends them. And it's a slice of life. You don't really know a whole lot about everybody. You get a little glimpse at his childhood, and then you just jump right in. And it's always fun to have a little indie movie like that where you don't need a whole bunch of movies before it, movies after it. It's just a little point in this character's life, and we're done. I think it was
Mhm.
really fun. It was a lovely story, well acted, and yeah, it was just a fun movie that if you got Apple Plus or Apple TV, whatever it's called, go watch it. I think it's a fun use of your time too. It's good.
I really, really liked it. I heard great things about it going into it, and I was expecting to love it. And I just ended up really, really liking it. So I guess I was disappointed. It's really real and relatable and genuine. It's a really good coming of age type movie. A lot of heart, but it was also like funny
If
and
I give
sad. It
it,
was very heavy.
yeah, if I give any credit to anywhere, I think Cooper's writing
Mhm.
is really, really good, especially with his dialogue. Like all of the characters talk like real people. You
Mhm.
don't really get that clunky stuff where everyone's too overly dramatic and just kind of goofy in a way where you kind of pull yourself out of it. These feel like real characters in real situations. And I think that attributes to the writing as well as his directing, which from a guy who's like 22 years old or whatever, it's pretty phenomenal to get these levels of performances out of these actors who are pretty well known. I mean, you got Brad Garrett in there and Leslie Mann,
Mhm.
and you got Dakota Johnson and a few people that you don't really know, but they still knocked it out of the park, in my opinion. So, yeah,
Specifically, Dakota Johnson for me, at least.
absolutely. Like this and Peanut Butter Falcon are two of my favorite performances from her ever.
Mhm. See, I'm a 50 Shades of Grey guy. No, I'm kidding. I haven't seen any. I have them all on Blu-ray somewhere.
I watched the first one, I think, when it came out.
Imagine opening this up on Christmas morning because I did that.
Your mom bought it for you?
Yeah, in front of my whole family, and I'm just like,
Take a picture.
but yeah, very very good movie. I have several friends who I think my editor it's his favorite movie of the year so far. I was just waiting for it to kick into that gear of like, oh, now I love this, and I just ended up at that really like point. So I'm at four for Cha Cha Real Smooth.
I think I gave it a 4.5, maybe even a 5. I think it's one that even if you didn't love it the first time, I think it's one that it's very rewatchable and it's just a lovely story that maybe you will get there one day, and I hope you do because I think I love it honestly. I think it's just a really fun story, so I think people should check it out. And
Oh, definitely
you're
check it
saying the
out.
same.
Yeah.
It's a lovely movie.
Mhm. Yeah. Speaking of the opposite of a lovely movie is Dominion, Jurassic World Dominion. So how you said you've changed recently how you feel about it. Why don't you enlighten me?
Well, I was definitely higher on it than most, and I think I still am, but yeah, I think in my video I put it at like a 3.5, and I dropped it down to a 3 and could even probably drop it lower. In my rankings, I even did a ranking on my video. I don't think it even really, I still, and we saw Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom together. And when
Yeah,
we
we
left the
did.
theater, if you don't remember, I was the only one of us that liked it out of me, you, and Lucas.
Wait, I did because I championed it. I was at Universal with my brother, and he was like,
Yeah,
"It's like the worst movie," and I was like, "There's good things about it."
I don't think you were as high on it when we left the theater, if I'm being honest with you, because I liked it and you and Lucas were kind of just against me completely. But
I
I
mean, it's a
think it's a fun,
ridiculous, silly movie.
oh, it is. And that's why, like, I am on that side of it where I don't think Jurassic Park movies, the first one, is a good movie. Anything past that, I don't think any of them are the good movies. I think they're very popcorn, fun, and if you like crazy, stupid monster dinosaur movies, that's what I'm there for. And the movies that deliver that the most for me aren't really Jurassic World or The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3, in my opinion. Like those are the bottom of the list still for me.
Mhm.
But Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is my second favorite, I think, of all of them completely. Just because it is the one that leans in the most to just being ridiculous and silly. And literally the last half turns into a haunted house movie, but the haunting is a dinosaur.
Mhm.
It's so silly. Love it so much. And I think I even had like Jurassic World as my second favorite, and then Dominion, and then that one.
Mhm.
So I don't think Dominion even falls up again. It's definitely Jurassic World, and then I think it's even The Lost World, and then it's Dominion, and then it's three. Just because I know you're a champion of three, and I love you for it, but I can't stand it. I've tried to rewatch it. I think I liked it as a kid, and then as I got older, I started to see all the flaws with it more and more. I
Mhm.
love the scene with Alan and sleeping in the in the plane. That's awesome.
Alan.
That makes me laugh every time. But other than that, bad movie. And Dominion is a bad movie. Like all the dinosaur stuff in it, I give it that. The crazy dinosaur stuff in the cities and stuff, I wish they did that more, which I was hoping for at the end of Fallen Kingdom when it came out. They kind of teased that and
Mm.
didn't really deliver on the level I hoped. But yeah, I think it's a crazy dinosaur movie that didn't need the legacy cast whatsoever. They were unnecessary for the story.
Mhm.
And even though the story kind of didn't make a whole lot of sense and kind of just got pretty crazy. But the one thing I will give it straight up, I what is the doctor's name? I cannot remember at the moment.
Wong
Dr. Wong. I think his arc was the best part
of the
ever
whole
throughout the whole
trilogy.
trilogy easily. Just because he got to do the whole thing and kind of got his redemption of being just the dark, sinister doctor who wanted to basically destroy the world with dinosaurs and then kind of ended up saving everybody. I thought that was pretty cool for his character, and that was unfortunately one of the only positives. Other than they did cool dinosaur stuff, and they did more practical than they did with a lot of the other Jurassic World movies. So good on the practical effects team. Good on the people who made the dinosaurs in via and visual effects. And yeah, the writing of the Doctor character was good.
Mhm.
Everything else, I'm sorry, was not. Chris
Well,
Pratt, this is one of Chris Pratt's worst movies, in my opinion. He didn't really like. I love a lot of his performances, especially whether it's Parks and Rec or Gardens of the Galaxy. He has so much charisma, and in this movie, he didn't do anything. It kind of felt like he just walked through the character of Owen Grady, and it didn't feel like he wanted to be there whatsoever. So I was kind of disappointed by all of that shit.
no, I share many of the same sentiments you do. I grew up very nostalgic for this franchise. It was a linchpin franchise for me as a child. I rewatched the old ones. That's why I love Jurassic Park 3 so much. And I'm judging this on a scale of I'm a 22-year-old adult male. Like this, I am the target audience. Okay. So this should be by default, just by having dinosaurs be the main plot of the story. Sorry. It should be a 5 out of 5, right? And all of them are positively ranked by me. I think the first three are 5 out of 5s for me. I know I'm overrating it, but let
It's
me
yours.
enjoy
It's
it.
your rating. That's what I always say. If you
Uh,
enjoy something, enjoy it. Don't let anybody else fuck with you.
Yeah, and no, I think Jurassic World I said is like the worst 4-star movie I've ever seen. Because I disrespect it in a lot of ways, but I think there is a lot of value there. Fallen Kingdom is a 3. I actually, you know what, today bumping up to a 4. I really like that movie, and you know what? I like it more than Jurassic World. I'm
I do too.
convinced. But not better than the first 3, obviously. But the movie that Dominion's the first one I negatively rated because I had it at a 2 out of 5, and it reminded me of Rise of Skywalker and BVS because it was
Yep.
a disaster piece of a ending of a trilogy where you had the first director of the first one came back and did the third one, and this one's got all the legacy characters and fan service, and it's completely muddled and ridiculous, and everyone hates it. But it's
Yep.
also like BVS, where at the end of the day, you could talk about Granny's peach tea, you could talk about this, Skittle or Jolly Rancher in the mouth, all you want. At the end of the day, Batman fought Superman, and it was awesome. And that's how I feel about this movie. It's awful. It's borderline offensively bad if you still genuinely had respect and care for the franchise. But at the end of the day, there were dinosaurs in it, and it was cool. And like, it's bad, and it makes me more upset than I enjoy it, but definitely the worst one in the franchise for me.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but it probably goes below three. It really does. It's so disappointing, especially because like some of the marketing honestly got me excited.
Mm.
Even though I knew I shouldn't be, I got excited for it. And I was let down pretty hard just by it didn't feel like an ending to a trilogy at all. It didn't
Mhm.
feel like they tried to make some things large scale, but it just didn't really work. And they kind of retconned a lot of the different things they did with Fallen Kingdom. Granted, I think some
Just like
things,
Last Jedi.
yeah, okay. What I want to touch on there too is similar to both the uh BVS and what was the last
Rise
Star
of Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker. I left both of those movies the first time it's kind of numb feeling. Like I didn't want to dislike them just because I liked all of the movies before them for the most part. But
Mhm.
especially because I gave Rise of Skywalker a second chance in theaters, leaving the second time absolutely just being pissed off. Like this is a bad movie.
Mhm.
But still, like there are parts of it, like you were saying about Dominion. There are parts of it that I like in there. Like as much as you
The
might want to
Joker
laugh about it,
Saurus.
yeah, and the same thing with like Babu Frick and everything. Like, I think that movie, that character is unapologetically hilarious, and it made me
Mhm.
laugh several times throughout that movie. Is it one of the only times I did laugh? Yes. Did I laugh when everyone repeats the same? It's flying now, or whatever the hell they were
They
saying, like at the
fly
beginning,
now.
4 times in a row. Like, come on, this is so fucking stupid. Especially because, like, as me and you can both agree on, The Last Jedi is one of the best Star Wars movies, and then we
Mhm.
get this. It's just it makes you really mad.
Mhm. So would you recommend? So you give it a positive rate. So you would recommend this to people?
If you're a fan of Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movies for dinosaurs and you want to see dinosaurs on a big scale in the movie theater in IMAX, I can still say you should check it out. Just because the
Mhm.
dinosaurs parts, if you're going there for the dinosaur parts, are great. If you're going there for a good movie or a story, I don't know why, because
Yeah.
this franchise hasn't given you that in a long time. So
If you're
it's
into
on you.
locusts, then this is the movie for you.
If you're into Locust and you're in for, if you want to see Dr. Wong finally get his arc, I don't know why you would, but
Mhm.
because he's been an asshole this whole time. But
Mhm.
I don't think it's really a spoiler at this point. Don't go see it, honestly. If you want to go see it
Mhm.
for dinosaurs, do it. But I'm not spoiling the story because, or I'm
Mhm.
spoiling the story because it doesn't matter.
Have you seen a 40X movie?
I have not. I want to so bad. I think the closest one to me is Chicago.
Oh, I'm going to Chicago in a month from now. But I this is my first 40X movie, the one over by Waterford, the by UCF. You used to live here.
Yeah.
Just for anyone who doesn't know. But yes, that was my first time, and it's like a theme park ride because I'm like, being like
So yeah, the only
throwing
thing
around the whole movie.
I've experienced, the only thing similar to that was, I think it's called D box, where it kind of just like moves you around and everything like that. I've
Yeah.
experienced that. I Last one I did it with was actually Batman. When I saw it for the first time, I think I did it with
Wait, the
that.
Batman?
Yes. Well,
Oh,
before that, I actually did it with Furious 7 was the first time I ever did it, and I did it
that
with the
sounds more
Batman.
like it. Yeah.
But the Batman was honestly really fun with it too, other than the 3 hour runtime sitting in that chair was not the best. But during like the driving scene, everything with him and the Penguin, it was a lot of
Mhm.
fun. It made you
No,
feel
that
very
came to my
intense.
mind immediately. That would be perfect,
Yeah,
especially when
those
you
those
shot.
were fun, but after a while, especially when he's not doing a whole lot of action, it hurts your ass after a while, and you want that recliner
Mhm.
seat back.
Yeah. So just to wrap up on June, what's holding you back from seeing Lightyear?
The only thing is time, honestly. I
Mhm.
wanted to see it really badly. Like, there's no reason I have any gripes against it. I mean, I love Taika Waititi, and the fact that he's in it as a voice actor makes me want to see it very badly. I like Chris Evans and everything like that, but
Mhm.
I don't think it's a necessary sequel either. Like, I was I was okay with Toy Story 4. Toy Story 3 was definitely the ending I like a lot more. And I don't really see the need for Buzz Lightyear, but I don't have any gripes against it whatsoever. And all the different things about the lesbian kiss is really ridiculous in my opinion. And if that's really what's hurting the box office, and that's really, really sad.
I definitely agree with that. To wrap up June, I would say that I recommend seeing Lightyear. I overrated it. I gave it a 5 out of 5, and I'm
Uh,
definitely overrating it. But it's like my 18th out of 26 Pixar movies of all time, so it's still low end. Definitely nowhere near as good as Turning Red, but I got a lot of Interstellar from it, and I got a lot of Alien and Aliens from it. And obviously, Pixar draws a lot from like older movies. We know that this Toy Story movies always reference the Shining, but yeah, so it felt like Wally. It was more of like a serious like genre film. Obviously, it's still a family film. Pixar, the team, the cat. Oh my God, Socks is so cute. Oh, everyone loves Socks. He's everyone's favorite.
I'm
So
definitely. I might even go
yep.
check it out this weekend, honestly, just because I want to go see it, and I don't even know what's really coming out this weekend.
Mhm.
So I probably have time. So I'll probably check it out this weekend, and I will have my thoughts ready for the next podcast. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a cool movie, and
Mhm.
yeah,
What's your
I
best and
I
worst of
just
June?
best and worst. So
I
my
feel like you're
best
Black Phone and I'm
Black Phone
Elvis.
is definitely my favorite, and yeah, Elvis is definitely for you. My
Mhm.
worst, I gotta decide.
It's for me. It's got to be Jurassic. Not even close. I mean, Crimes of the Future was all right,
Yeah,
but
I
Jurassic's bad.
Jurassic is probably the worst, especially theatrically.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely because like Crimes of the Future, I liked it. I thought it was really weird. I don't think it got too weird, but
Mhm.
I saw it literally in a theater alone, no one else in there, and I
Mhm.
understood why. Just because it was definitely on the weirder side. I'm not a huge Cronenberg guy, but
It was my first.
it was definitely my first theatrically. I saw like A History of Violence, which also had Viggo Mortensen, but it's definitely not like this. Like that's like a thriller, almost action type movie in a way.
Mhm.
But yeah, this one is very strange. If you're a fan of like special effects, especially like practical special effects, you'll get a kick out of it for sure.
The Remote.
Yes, all of it is just
Oh.
very, very graphic. If you have a weak stomach and you don't like gross things, maybe don't watch it. Check out the trailer maybe and see if it's right for you. I don't know how much they show in it. I haven't watched it, but
Mhm.
it's very dark and the story is kind of convoluted. It kind of got really confusing,
Mhm.
but it's a fun movie. And yeah, if you're a horror person, you'll probably like it.
Mhm. So is there anything else you want to say about June, or did you had a movie you wanted to talk to me about?
Oh yeah, a movie I just bought actually. I It
Mhm.
came out in 2006 or 7, I want to say, and it's a very special movie to myself and my co-host Adam here because
Mhm.
it stars one of our teachers from film school. I don't want to get a reflection on it. Matt Nelson. He
Yeah,
was
he
our
was our
lighting
teacher.
teacher.
And I still see him at the theater that I work at every
Del-
weekend.
Delivery is the title of the movie. If you want to check it out, I bought the last copy on Amazon that I know of,
You watched
and
it, right?
I have not watched it yet. I'm actually gonna try to watch it tonight or tomorrow or some time when I have free time, and might even make a video review about it if I have the time because I want to talk about it. I actually saw some video reviews on YouTube, and people were saying that Matt had a really good acting performance, and he even won an award on here for Screamfest '06 for Best Actor. So I've heard on those reviews that it's actually a bit of a drama in the beginning and then it turns into a horror and it's actually well written and well acted in a ways
Mhm.
that a B movie could be anyway. So if you're into B horror, I guess check it out because I've heard it's pretty good on the internet. So Matt Nelson, I hope it's great and I will let everyone know if it is. And yeah, what do you think, Adam? You want to check it out? I might even be able to mail it to you one of
Oh,
these days
definitely.
because
I would definitely see it just because it was my teacher, and that would be so funny to see.
yo,
I'm so surprised he never let us know that he was in a movie, or maybe he did.
exactly. I don't think he did because I mean I talked to him about a few different things, but if I mail this to you, you should go to get it signed by him because I think
I
we
could
need
totally get
this.
him to sign it. He would so sign it.
Yeah, I think we should do this. This is definitely the plan for sure. I'm gonna watch it and maybe we'll talk about it on the next episode.
Awesome, cool. Well, to round out this episode, I had a fun little game we were going to play here. We're halfway through the year now. So, how many 2022 movies have you seen?
So I don't have the exact number from like streaming and everything, but I do have the theatrical number.
Or I keep like a letterbox list of specifically 2022 movies so that at the end of the year it makes it
Well,
easy.
I
And that's
have one,
also keeps track.
but it also counts like movies that I've watched before too, like older movies and newer movies.
Oh yeah, just like the movie, your diary, like movies you
Yeah,
have
just
seen.
completely, yeah.
Well, I'm
But
at
theatrically
52
anyway.
on the year. Minions Rise of Gru is my 53, but that does not count. But it's been pretty, I would say so far, this has been a pretty great year for movies. What would you say?
Yeah, I've gone to the movies now let's see, I've seen a couple twice, but in total, I've seen 24 different movies theatrically.
Hmm.
Streaming, I can probably add in for 22 releases on streaming, probably
Hmm.
40. That's probably a rough number. I
Hmm.
still haven't seen the new Paranormal Activity movie, which I'm kind of sad about, even though I've heard it's
Oh, Next of
trashed.
Kin. Yeah, it was one of my least favorites last year. I think it was second worst for me.
But I will say, did you watch the documentary that's on Paramount
Oh
about the whole
no.
series? That's actually a good movie. I highly recommend it because I know you're a fan, and it goes through literally like every movie and kind of talks with the cast. So I think it
Definitely
was a
fan
fun
because I
one.
bought the trilogy and then I ended up buying the entire collection. So now I own the first three twice.
I bought the collection on Voodoo not that long ago too, so I have all of them. I love those movies. I mean, there's not really a bad one that I absolutely hate. Like Ghost Dimensions is definitely my least favorite, but
Mhm.
I get a kick out of all of them, even like the marked ones that a lot of people are kind of iffy
Mhm.
about. I think it's really fun, especially with all the different crazy like jumping around and just off the wall stuff they do.
Yeah, I think I was duped. They had no idea what they were doing. But no, I'm very interested. I probably will check that out. But yeah, so you said that your second favorite movie of the year is Black Phone,
Right
right
now, yeah.
behind your first, which was
Everything
um
Everywhere All at Once. That's
everything.
definitely
Yeah,
the number one.
that's also my number one. So my top like five as of right now: Everything Everywhere, Nick Cage, Elvis, the Batman, and Turning Red.
Okay. Mine are definitely Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Black Phone,
Mm-hmm.
probably The Batman, and then Top Gun Maverick, and then to round out the top five, hmm, I haven't really thought about it that hard. Probably Cha Cha Real Smooth, honestly, right now. I
Mm-hmm.
think that tops out my top five right now, especially theatrically. Like streaming wise, I can't think of anything that really like stands out of being one of my favorites at the moment.
If you had to predict right now, is there any movie that's come out that we've seen or talked about that you think will get nominated for Best Picture? Any predictions? Like Cha Cha Real Smooth, that's an
Uh
Apple TV Plus. That's what Coda was. It has a chance.
yeah, as much as I would love it to, I'm not sure. We'll have to see as especially just gauging off of my
Mm-hmm.
video that I've been getting out there so far. It doesn't seem like too many people are looking for it at the moment, but hopefully by Oscar season it gets more out there. But right now, I mean I hope Everything Everywhere All at Once gets some nominations, whether it's even just for the editing or the cinematography or anything. But if it got a Best Picture, I would be ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
like
think it has not a huge chance, but it has solid.
the cultural relevance it has is the only thing that I think could get it up there, just because it's been so impactful. It seems like just all over the world rather than just the US.
Mm-hmm. To my anger, I think Top Gun Maverick has a very, very, very solid shot. In the same way that Avatar was nominated for Best Picture, I think the Top Gun will be.
Yeah, even if it gets the nomination, I don't see it winning.
Oh yeah, we're just talking about nominations here. None of
Yeah,
these will win. Like I can't tell you the last time a Best Picture winner came out in the first half of the year. I mean, Coda was like a Sundance thing, right? But
yeah, that
that
doesn't really
didn't really
count.
get released wide until later. I think. Do you think the Batman? I know when it came out, we were all talking about it.
Yeah, I don't think the Academy will be, especially around that time. Like, as much as you want to think, because especially everyone was like, it's better than The Dark Knight and blah, blah, blah. I don't think it has the same press as The Dark Knight for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
especially the same like memorability in a way. Like, I watched it twice in theaters. I have not rewatched it since it's been on HBO or bought it or anything, but I would like to see it, especially nominated. But right now, especially with movies that are probably going to come out at the end of the year that are all the Oscar bait things, I don't think Batman's really going to be thought about by that time.
Mm-hmm. When Everything Everywhere All at Once came out, I said there's no way the Academy would ever. But the fact that it's still in theaters to this day, like if we weren't doing this tonight, I would have gone to a fourth show screening of that movie for myself. But I think it will. I'm saying this right now. Bold prediction: it will get nominated for Best Picture. You can put it in the board.
I I completely hope and I agree. I'm very hopeful for it, and it
Mhm.
deserves it by far. Like
Mhm.
right now, it is my favorite, and I think objectively is one of the best well-made films of 2022 for sure. Whether it's just from a
Mhm.
creative standpoint, like a lot of people couldn't even think about how they made this movie, let alone just thinking about how they wrote this and how they actually got this from a writing standpoint to a visual medium
Mhm.
just seems really insane to me. And well, these guys are also just the creative people behind Swiss Army Man, which I know is a definitely a favorite of yours. And that
Rock and
is just
roll.
a creative, surrealistic masterpiece in a way. It's
Mhm.
so weird, but so charming and good. And yeah, I hope that movie should have got more recognition and kind of still is getting more of an audience as time goes by. I see just with Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano getting more eyes on them, that movie
Mhm.
gets more eyes. So, and I think this movie will probably even do the same, even though it has much bigger of an audience than Swiss Army Man ever had. But
Mhm.
yeah, I hope it gets that nomination for sure, especially for Michelle Yeoh. I think she should get a nomination for Best Actress too. I'm putting that out there right now.
Mhm. Yeah, if I had to make an official prediction right now, I think the movies that have come out so far in theaters wide will be nominated will be Everything Ever All at Once and Top Gun Maverick. I think Elvis has a chance. I think The Batman has an outside shot. So does movies like The Northman, but and Cha Cha Real Smooth. But I think we're only going to see those two. But what's your official bold prediction? What's going to
Uh,
get nominated?
Definitely Everything Everywhere All at Once. For Best Picture at this point,
Mhm.
I don't. Hmm. If I had to choose only one thing so far, I
Well, you don't
probably
have to choose
would.
one thing. Like you just what out of that's come out are you predicting will get nominated for Best Picture?
The only one that makes sense right now is Cha Cha Real Smooth, in my opinion, just from. Well, actually, you know what, too? That Triple R movie that came out of India,
Mhm.
I
Oh,
could
everyone
see
loves
that.
it.
I could see that sneaking in and actually getting a nomination. As wild as that could sound to some people, especially if you're a film person. This movie is like all over the place and getting so much recognition from literally everyone. I
Mhm.
watched it on Netflix probably a couple of weeks ago by now. It's super long, but it is a masterpiece of a movie. Like it feels like a superhero movie that doesn't have any superheroes in it. It's really crazy and it's really fun. So if you have a chance, it's on Netflix. Check it out. It's 3 hours.
Mhm.
Maybe I kind of split it in half and it worked out better in my opinion. I think I watched it mostly in the same day, but yeah, I think it's a crazy movie and it could get that nomination honestly, and I would not be completely shocked, but I would be pleased. And it's definitely gonna get international for sure.
I International I think is extremely popular. I think it's too weird for Best Picture. I don't think that they would do it, but it's definitely one that's been recommended to me
If
and
they
I
want to fill
will
up those
probably
spots,
watch
they
it.
should. They
So
should
do
fill up those
you have
spots for
three, you're
once.
predicting three movies to be nominated for Best Picture?
At this point, yeah, I think it's really just Cha Cha Real Smooth is the only one that makes sense so far. That's really, I would love to see the Batman sneak in there, and Everything Everywhere All at Once deserves a nomination for sure. But
Mhm.
yeah, everything else, I don't think really. Elvis, I could see definitely sneaking in there.
Mhm.
I don't think it really deserves a Best Picture nomination. I think technical awards, especially for editing, will probably walk away with it at this point because Everything Ever All at Once is kind of where I can see the Academy kind of going to Elvis just because they like Elvis more probably when it comes to editing.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't see Elvis really getting the best picture stuff. Actor for sure, other technical maybe, but yeah,
So you're officially those three.
yeah.
Okay, good, good, good. Well, we are down to our last minute here. We are going to go into actors and actress stuff. Maybe we could do that in 2 weeks. But thank you guys so much for checking it out. Check out my hard reviews, Steve.
Film fan reviews on YouTube.
We're going to have our socials down below. Let us know what you guys thought about what we thought about today and what you want us to talk about. And we didn't. Oh, Favorite movie that old movie that you've watched this year this month? Quick.
I just watched the sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that was really bad. That's the only thing I can think of right off the top of my head because I watched it earlier today.
I watched both Beavis and Butthead movies, and they were both really dumb, but they were fine.
Hey, Beavis and Butthead Do America is one of my favorite movies from my childhood. So
If I watched it as a child, maybe
yeah,
I get
exactly.
it.
All right, everybody.
Uh,
We'll see you next time. Love you.
Thank you.